Okay, so let's take a look at a real life example with exponential growth. So it's a model of exponential growth. We have Kimberly's family invested in a certificate of deposit. We abbreviate that to CD. So they invested in a CD for her when she was born. The interest is compounded quarterly. So when we have these financial questions, this is our key word, compounded quarterly. What is the value of the CD at the end of 5 years? So when you have compounded interest, and you will see the word compounded used, that tells us what formula to use. We're going to use A equals P times 1 plus R over N raised to the N times T power. So A is going to be the total amount of the CD, the total value of the CD. P, let's go ahead and list off what we're going to plug in. P is going to be the principal investment or deposit. We can see over here $3,000 was deposited originally. R is the interest rate. Over here we can see it is 8%. So 8% as a decimal is 0.08. N is the number of compounds per year. So compounded quarterly, again, how many times in a year are we calculating the interest? Our N is going to equal 4. And then the question is, what is the value of the CD at the end of 5 years? So our T, our time, is going to equal 5. So let's go ahead and plug all those numbers in, and then we will calculate the value of the CD. So A equals, we're going to plug in a 3,000 for P, times 1 plus the R is 0.08 divided by the N, which is 4, raised to the N times T, so 4 times 5 power. That's kind of hard to see. So this right here, that says 4 times 5. All right, we can simplify this a little bit. We've got 3,000 times this 0.08 divided by 4. If you type that into your calculator, that's a 0.02. So plus 1 is 1.02 raised to the 20th power. And then I will just grab my calculator and I will use parentheses. And then I know that this is going to be equal to 4,457 point. Now, anytime you're talking dollars and cents, you do want to round to 2 decimal places, the nearest hundredth, and that's going to be a 0.84. So what does this mean? How do we interpret that answer the question? At the end of 5 years, the value of the CD will be $sign goes first, $4,457.84. So that is the answer to the question. All right, part B. Will the value of Kimberly's CD be greater after 15 years if it is compounded annually rather than quarterly? So we're going to run through this formula a couple more times. First, if we are compounding quarterly, what is the value of the CD after 15 years? So we can just jump right to our formula. A equals, the principal is 3,000 times 1 plus, it's an 8% divided by compounding quarterly is when N equals 4. But now it's a 4 times, we're looking at 15 years. So we couldn't just take our answer from above because we changed our number of years. So 3,000 times, this is a 1.02 raised to the 60th power. And when we calculate that, we get $9,843.09. All right, well, let's compare that to compounding annually. So there's some vocab we have to know. If it says annually, that means one time a year. So our N will equal 1. If it said compounding monthly, that would be 12 times in a year. So our N would equal 12. Compounding quarterly, 4 times in a year. So N equals 4. So we just have to be familiar with some of those phrases we use for time. All right, so A equals, it's still a principal of 3,000 times 1 plus, it is still 8%. But now we're dividing by 1, and then we're taking 1 times our 15 years. So 3,000 times 0.08 divided by 1 is just 0.08, plus the 1 is 1.08 raised to the 15th power. We grab our calculator, we calculate that, and we get $9,516.51. So the thing to notice, it was the same principal, the same rate, R, but we changed the number of compounds. It was the same time, 15 years. If we're compounding more often, so 4 times in a year, she has more money. She has $9,843. If she's compounding once a year, she has a little bit less money. Now, if we put more money into the CD or we compounded for more years, or if we compounded more than 4 times in a year, all of these things would increase the value of the CD. So let's answer the question. It says, will the value of Kimberly's CD be greater after 15 years if it is compounded annually rather than quarterly? And the answer to that is no. Compounding annually, we can see, has less money than compounding quarterly.